Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Shalane and this is pretty much me share my walk with God. So if you're new here, thank you for watching. I hope this blesses you and I hope you stick around. And for those who have been watching, thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video. I post once a week for now. Okay? So today is testimony time. All right, so this video is probably not gonna be as long, but knowing me, when I start talking about God, I can't stop. Hence why my videos are so long. All right, but you just have to bear with me a time. Today is testimony time. So if you watch my previous videos, these videos that I share are called The Unfolding, as the Lord gave me the title and everything. The Unfolding. Now, I don't even know what I'm unfolding. The unfolding of me, the unfolding of whatever the promise. I don't know what I'm unfolding, but the Lord says to call it the unfolding. So the unfolding. So as I unfold just daily what has been going on, what the Lord has been doing. 2 weeks ago, I ended that job. The last video I told you that was my last day at the job. So I've been home for, this week would be the second week since I've been home. So a week and a day or so, yes. And I left that job. So I don't know if I put this in the video before, where a week into that job, because that job was just a temporary role for 3 weeks. A week into that job, I got a call, got an interview with a wonderful job that I was qualified. That was good. Would have been a perfect job, to be honest, if the Lord hasn't given me other things to do. So as I started to go back into work, the Lord reminded me that, look, the things I call you to do are more important. So don't allow your life to become so consumed like it was before I took you out of that job. Make sure you put my time at the front. So that was a part of the thing that made me anxious in the search, because I didn't want to choose the wrong job. I didn't know what job would give me adequate space to do the things that the Lord called me to do. But it gave me a dream. He has been talking. So I knew it was serious. So of course that kind of made my search a little bit more difficult. But anyways, I got that job for 3 weeks. It was perfect. It was just 3 weeks. So it was Monday to Friday. And I got the time to sit with the Lord and really keen in. So a week into that job, I got a call. I got an interview. I'm a nurse. I was doing urology before the Lord pulled me out. So that job was a urology job, similar to what I was doing prior. It was a Monday to Friday job, and it was at between 2 locations, kind of identical to the one that it took me out of. So I was excited about it. They were paying me at a rate that I wanted. Everything was perfect, except I was thinking I'm not gonna have time for the things that the Lord called me to do, which is the most important. So I started to pray about it. I fasted about it for a day. The day before the interview, I fasted everything. I did the interview. The moment I got off the interview, I got a call that I got the job. It was like immediate. But even in that moment, I knew I could not take the job. I knew it. I knew that if I took that job, I would end up back where I started, and I would not have time to do the things the Lord has led me to do. So with a heavy heart, with not having another job offer yet, I said no. First I said I could do part-time, maybe 2 days, 3 days, but I could not commit to 5 days a week. And at first they were actually considering to offer me that part-time role because they wanted me so bad. But I guess after they evaluated everything, it just didn't make sense for what they wanted. So they gave the job to someone else. I was a little bit heartbroken. I'm like, God, you know what I mean? Allow them to give me part-time then, if that's the case. But it didn't work out that way. So here I was again, gave up a job, like a good job, good money, everything, waiting on the Lord, because he asked me, do you trust me? That's the last video. Do you trust me? I said yes. He said let go. So the last week of that job, throughout the process of that job, throughout the 3 weeks, I've got multiple calls. I've spoke to multiple people, multiple interviews, but nothing was the right one, and I knew it. And I had to say no to so many offers. All right, so this one offer came up now the day around the last day of that job. It was a good job too. that role was a temp role for 2 months. I'm like, yes, that's perfect. I do it for 2 months, and after 2 months, I can figure out that would be another Monday to Friday kind of time consuming job. But I'm like, nothing else is coming. Ideally, what I wanted, I said, God, something remote would be perfect, or something that I work maybe 3 days a week. That's what I prayed for. That's what I wanted. That's what I think would be ideal to accommodate me working, still providing for my family, and still being able to do the things the Lord has called me to do. So of course, that job came on the TV. It was, but because it was temp, I'm like, probably I'm just gonna have to do it because I need the money, or whatever the case may be. I was still holding on and trusting God anyways, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna be crippled by fear. I'm gonna move, and if it's for me, God will cause the door to open, and if it's not, He will close it. And either way, I'll be fine. So as I do the test and everything, I got the job and preparing to do physical to start orientation the following week. I got a call. And I got the call, someone called me about a job that I applied for when I just started to apply for jobs. That was a 3-day-a-week type job, 12-hour shift. I'm like, that job would be perfect. Anyways, I never got a call back about that job until that time when I told you I was preparing to go to start the other job. They called me and they're like, okay, are you still interested in the position? I'm like, yes, I'm still interested. Mind you, I told the other job yes already. But I'm like, you know what? Yes, let me go do the interview and see how it goes. I told them yes, she told me to come to the interview the other day. I went to the interview. Right there in the interview, the job was mine. I knew, let me tell you, sometimes we don't know, I don't know if you've experienced it. I don't know how to explain it. But whenever God is in a thing, you know it. It's like you just know when you have in your spirit. From the moment I got the call, I could tell that job was mine. It was what I prayed for. And it was at the appointed time before I started this job. So I'm like, you know what? So I went to the interview. I knew the job was mine. And they said they were gonna, really, it's a part-time role they have. They have 2 days, which would be Wednesday and Friday, 12-hour shift. So it will account. So I would need one more shift for it to amount to a full week schedule. And I mean, I said yes anyway because I knew it would work out. So I said yes. I told the other job I'm not taking it, and started to pursue this job. Did interviews, everything set up. I'm just like this. I went up there today to give in some more paperwork, and I'm supposed to start this week. But everything just felt right about the job, and it just brought me back to the fact that sometimes if we allow or if we do things in our own, then we mess things up. But if you allow, I remember God asking me while I was there getting anxious about sending out more applications. He told me, do you trust me? I said, yes. He said, let go. And I'm like, God, if I'm letting go, I'm not sending out any more application. I'm not doing anything else. Whatever is from me so far, you will bring it to me. And I stopped. No application, no nothing. I just stopped. And even... and to show you how God works. So I stopped. This job came. I don't know where it came from, but it came. Let me tell you. And it came at the perfect time. And I told you that I don't know if I share about the car. So I told you guys when I got that job, my car stopped working before I start the job, which was so heartbreaking for me. I had to go back to taking public transportation. So one of my issue while searching, I couldn't get any job that is far off because I couldn't drive because I didn't have a car. That week before I left that job, I got a call for a family friend as a car to give me to use. Like if I want to use it for a year, couple months, 2 years, 3 years, it is basically mine. All I had to do, I didn't have to buy it, I didn't have to pay for it. All I had to do is register it and use it. No, I got the car before they called me about this job. This job would require me to drive. I could not go take this job if I didn't have a ride. And it worked out that this job called me after I got the car. Because if they had called me before, I would have said no, even though it was ideal. But God's timing is perfect. When he told me, do you trust me, let go, I didn't know I was getting a car. I didn't know I was getting this job. I just let everything go in his hand. And surely he knew what he was doing. So I'm sitting here in this moment about to start a job that will work ideally working 3 days a week. So 2 days a week was what they promised. Today when I went there, I was like, before I went up there, I was like, 2 day a week, I still will need another job to make up the hours. So of course, even though I told the Lord that I'm not gonna go searching, I started to search again to find a job where probably I could do a double 1 day or something to make up the hours so that it will amount to 40 hours. In the midst of me search, the Lord reminded me that I said I would not apply for another job. Like the Spirit reminded me that, look, remember you say you're not gonna apply for another job. Do you trust me? You know what? So I said yes. He said let it go, because what I've provided is sufficient. I'm like, God, but it's 2 days they're giving me. He said leave it alone. I stopped immediately. I had an interview for a job. I didn't even bother. I told canceled. Like, I stopped completely because I was about to commit to something that was gonna take up time that He deliberately gave me to work on the things that He's called me to do. And today, I'm like, I know they promised 2 days, but I know the Lord will make them give me 3 days. Today when I go up, I went out, when, you know, in the midst of Him telling me that leave it alone, He reminded me. He said, you remember when you left that job that you had before, and I told you when you started that new job, that's my previous job that I had, when I started that job, and I know I shared it before, I was working 2 jobs at the time. I left my first job and got this new job, but I still had a second job that I was planning to use to supplement my income. Before I even started the new job, the Lord told me to leave the second job also. That was when I was just getting into faith. I wasn't even so faithful. And He told me it was so hard, because I'm like, I need that extra money. I need that extra money. And the Lord told me, I am your surplus. And that has stuck with me ever since. Every time I feel like it's not enough, the Lord reminds me that He is my surplus. So in that moment when I was about to try to find another job to supplement this job, He told me to leave it alone, and reminded me, remember when I told you to leave that job. And it worked out that when I left that job, that one job was giving me more than what I was making with the 2 jobs. Excuse me. I didn't know that beforehand, because the rate that they agreed to give me in the interview, I ended up making more money when I started to work. So I wouldn't have seen that beforehand, but I told God yes, and I left the job. And surely He worked it out that that job was able to sufficiently provide for my needs, take care of my family, and was great. So when He told me leave it alone, He brought me back to that realization. I'm like, God, you know what? I know you will work it out. So today when I went now to bring the paperwork, and the lady was telling me, I hope you can come in more than 2 days, because I'm gonna work out that you get 3 days, and then if you want any other days, then it will be open. I'm like, look at God. Look at God. I was about to go commit to another job that got me moving all around the place, when what the Lord give you is adequate. Can I just say this? What the Lord give you will always be adequate, will always be enough, will always be what you need. I know in our understanding we want to figure it out on our own, but if you just really let go and let God, He can work it out. So right now in this moment, I just got a call before I started to make this video from one of the local hospitals that I applied for before. They called me today about a job offer. I'm like, if they had called me before I got this job, I probably would have took it, because that's a good job too. But of course, I'm going to have to say no, because the Lord provided this job, and I know this is where I'm supposed to be. Mind you, this job, one of my issues was going back into a nursing home setting or something that's going to cause me to be so consumed. This job, the money is right, environment is right, and the role that I will be doing is not even a bedside nurse role. It's more of a supervisor type role. So it'll be less striving and more, ease into. Who could it be but God? Like, who could it be but God? Let me tell you something. I don't know what you're believing God for. I don't know what the Lord has promised you. But I want to tell you today that it might not come when you want it to. It might not come in the format you want it to, but it is sure to come. And it will come right on time at the appointed time. Because let me tell you, every single week is like the Lord is just showing me that He is God. When He said, let go, do you trust me? Let go. That's all there is to it, nothing more. So today I'm standing as a living testimony of His goodness and His grace and His mercy.